Hey y'all, Iric Guy here, and I wanted to provide some quick advice for choosing the best exercise bike. If you're watching this video, you've probably gotten a little bit chubby because of the pandemic or whatever, and you're probably saying, hey, I need to get ahead of the game. I need to get ahead of January. January is typically when everybody has their New Year's resolution and they say they're going to lose all this weight and get ripped, and then they wait till January and you're like, well, just one more week, and they keep pushing it back. But within this video, I want to share with you my advice for choosing the best indoor exercise bike. Now, just to give you a quick background, I've been I've been cycling for a long time. Been cycling since I was a kid. I rode mountain bikes. I rode road bikes. I rode road bikes before cell phones were prevalent, before we had the problem of texting while driving. Nowadays, just out of my own, safety conscious decision, I will not ride a road bike on the road because I feel, for me personally, it's unsafe. There's too many distracted drivers. I don't want to get killed while riding a bike. Therefore, I was forced indoors with the, with the cycling experience, and started out with a bike. And you can check out my older video. It used friction pads. It was from another company. I think it was Proform. You can find it. I'll flash up a YouTube card. I've got a video of it on my channel. But that older bike I had, and granted the technology wasn't there at that point in time, the older bike had friction pads, which basically the wheel on the front that spins, then you would turn a knob and it would make the pads push harder or not push as much on the wheel. So that's what created resistance. The friction pad bikes were not the best thing. At the time, that was the technology that existed. So, it would get the job done, but it came with a lot of inconveniences. Number one, the pads would often wear unevenly. Number two, they would often heat up and make an unpleasant smell. Number three, you had to replace those pads frequently. And like most every piece of exercise equipment, sometimes finding replacements, especially after something's potentially a few years old, is not that easy. So exercise bikes with friction pads, and I know there's still some of them on the market today, I would stay away from exercise bikes with friction pads because now there's so much better technology to choose from, and we're going to go into that in depth. One thing you may have, maybe you were a road biker, maybe you were a mountain biker, maybe you've got a really nice bike and you want to use that bike indoors. There's an option to do that. You can use what's called a bicycle trainer, and I'll pop up a video where you can see a very affordable bicycle trainer. Basically what you do is you take your back tire off, you attach it to this trainer thing, not the back tire, check out my video, you take one of the tires off and it can interface with that trainer. So basically you're pedaling your actual bike, but you're doing it indoors, and obviously you're not moving, but you're getting that realistic cycling experience because you're on your actual bike. That's great, but the problem that brings to the table is that you've got to maintain your bike just like you would on the road. You've got a chain, you've got all the gears, you got to keep things lubricated, you got to keep things tuned up. So that's where the technology has radically evolved, and it brings you to what I have right here. And you can find this, expand this video's description, and then click the link there. You can find the bike like I'm using, the mat like I'm using, the shoes like I'm using, and I don't ride clipless, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Although there is the capability, this bike does have the capability of attaching clipless shoes, cycling shoes that have the cleats that, you pop in, boom, pop, and then you're attached to the pedal. But these are what I use, and you can find them linked within this video's description. This particular bike, you can use standard shoes or the clipless style shoes. I don't know why they call them clipless, because they actually have a little clip in there. But with this, you've got toe cages, so tennis shoes you can just slide in, and you've got a toe cage to provide, a little bit better pedal action. Or you can flip to the bottom side of the pedal, and it's got the cleat for attaching a clipless style cycling shoe. And I don't use clipless style cycling shoes because I was in a wreck. This was back in, let's see, it would have been 1999. And I bought a full suspension, really nice mountain bike. I was out. I'd just gotten the first bike with disc brakes, and I was riding my clipless shoes. So my shoes were strapped to the pedals. And I went down a hill, and keep in mind, my previous mountain bike had traditional what do they call them, V-style brakes or whatever. I'm not up on all the terminology anymore, man. But, you know, the traditional brakes, and you have the little brake pads, and they stop. They've got decent stopping power. But when you switch to disc brakes, instead of a shh, it's like a boom, you know, like almost an immediate stop. So I wasn't used to that. So I slammed on my rear brake when I was going down a hill like I would have with my previous bike, except I wasn't used to the disc brake, so it sent me forward. I went over the handlebars with my feet still attached to the pedals. This could have gotten really bad, man. I mean, it was bad, but I hit my chin. I broke my chin. I had to get all these stitches. I broke every single bone in my right hand. And I got up and I'm like, dude, you know, I'm like, I've broken some stuff. So I got rushed to the hospital and got a half cast on my hand, and it was a painful experience. But you know, the worst part was that was 99, so I was graduating high school, so I was going down to Cancun, Mexico. So I'm there in the Cancun, Mexico swimming pool with a half cast on my arm, with a garbage bag over it, drinking a popular Mexican beer in the left hand. You know, so I mean, I took advantage of the situation, man. But that's why I no longer ride, and again, it's personal preference. I no longer ride the clipless shoes, the ones that clip to the pedals, although they're compatible with this bike, and probably indoors it's probably pretty safe. But I've just got, when something that traumatic happens, if it ever happens to you, it's probably hard to get out of your head. So for that reason, I don't touch clipless shoes that attach. But if you do, you could use them with this bike. I like these shoes. You know, granted, you could use your own tennis shoes on the other side of the pedal, but I like these because I keep these in this room, in my studio where I do my workouts. I keep them in here, so these never touch the ground. They never touch any room outside of my cycling studio where I am now. So hopefully these will, you know, with that being the case, hopefully these shoes will last me a few years because they're flat. They slide in and out of the toe cages very easily. Perfect shoe. Again, you can find them linked within this video's description. They come in a variety of different sizes and colors, of course. But yeah, so this bike, what makes it so good, it does not use friction pads. It's and again, I want to use the term whisper quiet very carefully, because everyone's interpretation rather of whisper quiet is different. It makes a small amount of noise. Check out my other videos. Subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/iRixGuy. Ring that bell icon that'll notify you when I post new videos. But check out all my existing videos in my Schwinn IC4 video playlist. And you can hear how whisper quiet, I feel this is whisper quiet. It's whisper quiet because it doesn't use friction pads. You don't change gears. This uses magnetic resistance, you know, magnets, very strong magnets. So as you turn the knob to the right, it increases the resistance. You turn it to the left, it reduces the resistance. Check out my video where I demonstrate the Schwinn IC4's resistance from 0 to 100. It's super cool. It's a super clever invention. Now, the cool thing is about magnets, and I'm not a scientist, but I think magnets probably stay strong for a long time. So unlike a friction pad that is making physical contact with the wheel in the front that's spinning to increase or reduce that amount of resistance, these magnets, they're not physically touching the wheel, but the act of turning the knob increases the amount of magnetism or reduces the amount of magnetism. So obviously, it's making it easier or more difficult to pedal. So it's a really clever design. You know, not only do you have to not deal with moving parts, you know, the friction pads, having to replace those, they wear unevenly. You know, you've had it for a few months, you're using a friction pad bike, and then you realize, well, hey, the resistance doesn't feel the same, and that's because friction pads wear out over time. Whereas with magnets, it's, you know, whether it's the first week that I was riding this or a few months later, today, I still feel the same level of resistance. It's consistent. You know, I know what I'm going to get. It's a predictable resistance, and that's super important. And again, it's whisper quiet. I do use a mat. I do have my Schwinn IC4 on a mat, and you can expand this video's description and then click the link there to find the mat like I use. Super affordable. One of the main reasons I use the mat, it's not the noise, because this thing is so quiet, and I am upstairs. But, you know, even being upstairs, people standing downstairs can't hear the bike. It's that quiet. But I put the mat there Number one, to better protect my floors, not from the bike. The bike's not moving around while I'm using it, but from sweating, because when you work out, you do a proper workout with this bike, you're probably going to be pouring sweat, and that sweat's going to drip on your floor. Now, if you're using a cheap laminate hardwood floor like I am, yeah, it's easy to mop up. But if you're using carpet, that sweat gets in the carpet and it gets all stinky. You probably don't want that. So for that reason alone, you know, even if you're not concerned about your floors, I mean, unless maybe you're putting in a garage somewhere and you got like a concrete slab or whatever, but in most all scenarios, I would recommend getting a mat. And I would get this mat because I feel it fits this bike perfectly. And it's got enough overhang on each side so that when I'm dripping sweat out of my elbows and my face and my other areas, you know, it catches that sweat. So that's super important. This bike, and again, there's other manufacturers of bikes. I don't want you to think I'm married to this particular model and this particular brand. The only reason I am is because I did a deep dive analysis of what's on the market, and I felt confident that I was going to get one of two bikes. I was going to get the IC4, which I have here, again, linked within this video's description. Just expand this video's description and click the link there. Or a bike that is allegedly, and again, I haven't confirmed this, but allegedly the same bike with just a different body style and stickers, which is the Bowflex C6. So I narrowed it down to these two, but I think when you check the price within this video's description, you will probably find that this bike is probably less expensive than Bowflex is offering. So if I'm getting the same bike with just a different exterior styling, why wouldn't I go for the best price? To add to that statement, Schwinn, I remember riding Schwinn mountain bikes when I was really young. Schwinn's been around for a long time. They make quality road bikes, mountain bikes, so it's not a fly-by-night company. So, you know, I've got quality here. This thing, again, I would buy this again over and over and over because it does everything I need and nothing more. One of the things that you can do is this right here is the heart rate monitor. So you can put, let's see if I can clamp it on here. It's actually easier if you do it this way. So you start threading it here, put your heart rate monitor on, and then you put this on your wrist. It's a Velcro, it's very soft, feels good. Put this on your wrist side. And this comes with the Schwinn IC4. So you got it on your wrist. So now you've got your heart rate monitor. So you could use, without getting in fancy with any of the apps or anything, you could use this Schwinn IC4 by itself. It's got a computer between the handlebars. That computer will display your RPM, revolutions per minute, your time, your calories, your speed, your distance, your level. You know, that's the resistance level, 0 to 100. And then also your pulse. What's cool about this computer too, if you're from across the pond, you can use metric, kilometers per hour. If you're on the other side of the pond, you can use miles per hour. So it's easy to toggle. Check out my tutorial where I show you how to switch Schwinn IC4 between imperial, which is miles per hour, and metric, which is kilometers per hour. Super simple to do. This thing right here, this heart rate monitor, comes with a little recharger. You just stick it into to your wall. It comes with a little charger thingamajiggy you plug into your wall and charge it. So it's super easy to recharge. I haven't had any problems. I don't know if it's recommended, but I haven't had any problems with, after I work out, spraying this off in the sink, just to get the sweat off. It hasn't introduced any problems for me. Granted, though, what I like about the IC4 is that I'm an Apple Watch wearer. When I do my workouts, I wear an Apple Watch because I like to track all my metrics with the Apple Watch. This does a good job for heart rate, but with the Apple Watch, I get so much more. So with the apps that I use, and check out my videos, at the time of filming this, I've demonstrated FulGaz, which is kind of like a realistic on-the-road type cycling experience. I've demonstrated Peloton app, which is made by Peloton, but don't confuse it with the Peloton that you get if you buy the Peloton branded bike. So real quickly, the Peloton branded bike, nice bike, super expensive. And if you opt to get the Peloton branded bike, and again, this is subject to change, but if you opt to get the more expensive Peloton branded bike, you are married to the Peloton subscription, which at least currently at the time of filming this, if you have the Peloton branded bike and then you get the subscription for the Peloton branded bike subscription is actually drastically more than the Peloton app, which is the Peloton app that you can use with a bike like the IC4, the C6, which the subscription to the Peloton app is significantly less expensive. However, with the Peloton app, you don't get all the leaderboards and all the competitive components that you would get if you had the Peloton branded bike and the Peloton subscription that goes with the Peloton branded bike. I didn't go with the Peloton. Nothing wrong with it. You know, it seems to be quality. You know, it comes with a big screen. Nothing wrong with it. I didn't go for it because, number one, I didn't want to have the additional cost for the bike itself. Number two, I didn't want to have the monthly enhanced subscription fee because I'm using the Peloton branded bike. Number three, I did not want to be married to the Peloton program subscription that runs on the screen of the Peloton bike. I wanted to bring my own experience. And especially with today being super important, because today is, the 13th of December 2020. Tomorrow, Monday, Apple is releasing Apple Fitness Plus. So I don't have videos of that yet, but I am super excited about Apple Fitness Plus. Why? Why am I super excited? It's device agnostic. Apple, at least at this point in time, to my knowledge, is not selling an Apple branded bike. Apple is not selling an Apple branded treadmill. So my expectation from Apple Fitness is that I can ride my Schwinn IC4 at home, or I could use the treadmill at the gym, or the bike at the gym, or the rowing machine at the gym, or go for a hike or a jog outdoors and have the same experience with Apple Fitness Plus. And it's super affordable per month. So stay tuned for my Apple Fitness Plus review videos, because I think that Apple Fitness Plus is going to become my preferred app solution for the Schwinn IC4. Now again, you don't have to use an app with the Schwinn IC4. You do not have to use an app. You can use this integrated computer. You don't have to use a heart rate monitor if you don't want to, but if you want to, you can work out indoors and you can track all of your metrics from this screen. So, you know, you could plop your iPhone or your iPad there and watch a movie or watch a TV show or a YouTube video on Irish Guys Adventure Channel while you're working out. Or you could do what I do. If you've got this set up, this was an affordable 4K smart TV, and I can AirPlay to it. So what I do, and currently I use the Peloton app. Apple Fitness Plus hasn't released yet. It releases tomorrow. But with the Peloton app, what I do, I put my iPhone here, and check out my video where I demonstrate the Peloton app with the Schwinn IC4. But I put my iPhone here, and then using iPhone, which is called AirPlay, you swipe down, you can AirPlay to an Apple TV or a smart TV that's AirPlay compatible. This smart TV is AirPlay compatible. And by the way, you can expand this video's description and click the link there to find this TV and the sound bar and subwoofer like I use as well. I've got it all linked there just to make it simple. You know, if you're shopping for the same indoor cycling solution like I use. So I do AirPlay on my iPhone, and then I see the full screen view of the Peloton trainer and the Peloton app on my big screen, and I've got the sound bar and the subwoofer, so I feel like I'm in a gym. Again, you don't have to do that. You don't have to use an app at all. You could just use this computer. You could use your heart rate monitor. You could just take the heart rate monitor off and not even track your heart rate. Just track your virtual miles traveled, your time, and you know, the resistance level that you're using. So, you know, there's so many ways you can use this. And what I like about the IC4, as I mentioned earlier, with the Peloton branded bike, you're married to that Peloton branded experience. With this, heck, check out my videos. I've used Zwift, which is kind of a cycling simulator. It was very well made. Zwift is very well made. A lot of people love Zwift. Zwift was not the motivational tool that I needed. I thought it was going to be the one I needed, but in reality, the spin class type environment that Peloton app offers is what I needed to get better motivated. And I know that better motivates me because I'm sweating more. I'm seeing more calories burned after my workout for my Apple Watch. So on the market today, Peloton app is what has given me the most intense cardio workout. And that's what I'm doing this for. You know, I'm here to try to become less fat. And I eat whatever I want to eat and I drink whatever I want to drink. But I do that because I work out religiously, not just on this bike, but I do outdoor workouts. I do backpacking. I've been up in the Appalachian Mountains, did over 100 miles in the backcountry. So, you know, I'm still fat, but it's tools like this that enable me to counteract my excessive eating and, you know, my enjoyment of high quality beverages every now and then. So it's a great experience, and it's whatever you want it to be. Again, you're not married to, you know, Schwinn is just the bike. They don't care if you're using Zwift. They don't care if you're using Ruvi. They don't care if you're using Peloton app. They don't care if you're using Apple Fitness Plus, and I am so excited about that, man. I cannot wait to get the Apple Fitness Plus installed tomorrow and bring y'all an Apple Fitness Plus review after, or maybe even during my first ride. Maybe I'll put the camera over here and narrate the Apple Fitness Plus experience, because I have a feeling if Apple executes well, that device agnostic experience that Apple Fitness Plus should bring to the table is going to be huge. So that's super cool. But yeah, we talked about the magnetic resistance of this bike, you know, something that may enable this bike to last a lot longer. Because if you're like me, anytime you think of home exercise equipment, you often think of something, oh man, that's gonna be a maintenance nightmare. You know, something that's prone to break down, something that's not as good as the gym quality stuff that you're used to in your gym. And this thing is exceptionally well made. And check out my assembly video, because I videoed the entire assembly process. And I would highly recommend that you take your time when you assemble it. You know, attach those bolts and screws and then go back and just make sure they're really tight. Because mine has been, and I'm kind of a fatter dude, man. I'm 6'2" and I weigh 220. So, you know, for me, during probably over 1,000 miles so far on this, to do that and not have any pops or creaks or bangs, you know, I attribute that to me taking my time with the assembly and, you know, really making sure everything was tight like it should be and not trying to rush that. So check out my assembly video. Something else, just a quick pointer. If you do expand this video's description and pick one of these bikes up, I would highly encourage you, when this bike arrives, do what I did and get, you know, if you've got an area outdoors and it's good weather, unbox it out there and just take all the shrink wrap and all the stuff that's packaged in, and then carry those components into your residence where you're going to assemble the bike piece by piece. And then that way, after you assemble it, and after you've confirmed that you weren't missing any parts, and I wasn't missing any parts, but after you've confirmed you've gotten everything out of the box, because there's some stuff that can hide in that foam, once you've completely assembled it, then you've already got all your packaging and the inner packaging materials where it's easier to, you know, to take it to your trash bin outside. So just a little pro tip for you there. But yeah, the assembly was easy, and it, you know, watch my video. I did it from start to finish, so you can see how long it took me. Just a one-person assembly job. The other thing I really like about this is that it does have wheels on the front. Now, they're kind of a semi-hard material, kind of like a rollerblade. I personally would not use them on any sort of floor unless it was like a, you know, maybe it's in the garage and you've got your, what do you call it, like your concrete floor, you know, like the, you know, just like a garage floor. But indoors, what I like about this, and I'm not the strongest dude, you know, I'm not a pansy, but I'm not, you know, like that kind of guy. I can pick this bike up one-handed and carry it. The width of the bike, as you can see, it's not wide at all. Easily goes through interior doors in a house. So fully assembled, easy to carry it through doors. Now, if you're a little bit weaker than I am, what you can do, the seat post with the seat attached on the top, as well as the handlebars, that post will pop out. So you can unplug your power, you can lift, you can disconnect the power cable, and then lift off your handlebar assembly. So the computer will stay attached to it, and there'll be the power cord that's detached from the bottom part. You can lift that off, and then you can lift the seat post with the seat attached off. And then if you need to transport it, maybe your house or your apartment, you have a place where you work out. Maybe you carry it in front of your TV, in front of your smart TV to do the workout, but while it's not in use, it needs to go in a closet or a storage room. Easy to pick up, easy to move among rooms. That's one of the advantages that, and there are some larger indoor exercise bikes, but that's one of the things that prompted me to go with this bike, just the size, the build quality, the magnetic resistance, the app-enabled functionality where I can use apps with it, but just the ease of portability, to move it among rooms in a residence. That was important for me because, this is my YouTube studio. And dude, I run several businesses out of this studio. And to be, to have this much space designated for an exercise bike is normally fine, but when I have certain kind of shoots, I need this extra space, so I need to temporarily move my bike, and it's effortless to do so. So, again, whether you keep it fully assembled, which is easy to carry for most people, or if you want to reduce the size and weight a little bit by popping off the seat post and the seat and the handlebar post and the handlebars, you can do that to even further reduce the weight. So that's a huge thing. The other thing is, if you're looking at ellipticals or treadmills, and I used to have a treadmill, and I love the treadmill, but let me tell you about treadmills, and it was a great workout. I could walk, I could jog on it. To get a good treadmill, though, you need the wider one. You get the narrow ones, it's not going to be a good experience. To get one that's comparable to what you're used to in a gym, they're going to be significantly more expensive. And the problem with treadmills, even though most of them will lift up, they're probably, once assembled, they're probably too wide to fit through an interior door. So with a treadmill, you're pretty much confined to using that, to keeping that treadmill in the room where it's assembled. And I can attest to that. I had a treadmill in here, and disassembling that thing to, after many years of use, I love the thing, but disassembling it just to reclaim a significant amount of space here in my studio, it took a lot of time. And then having to carry it out and for that reason, at home, unless I had a huge place, which I don't, if I had a huge place, I would definitely have a treadmill still. I'd have a treadmill and a bike and a rowing machine. But since I don't, something that's friendly for a smaller space, this bike is hard to beat. Also, the maintenance. With a treadmill, you got to lubricate the belt. You've got to eventually replace the belt. You've probably got to replace the motor. There's a lot of maintenance activities that one should be prepared for if they go with a treadmill. Whereas with this, you've got magnetic resistance for a wheel that's spinning on the front. So minimal amount of things to maintain, minimal amount of things to break with this. And the same is true with an elliptical. An elliptical is typically a lot larger. An elliptical is something you probably can't move among rooms in your house or your apartment. So, out of the exercise bikes, and again, I've spent a lot of time rambling during this video, and I've done it because these are questions that I ask myself. And the first question was, if I could only work out at home, what would I need? Well, obviously, I've got to have a piece of cardio equipment. Okay, so that was a given. And if I can only work out at home, what's the piece of equipment that would be easy for me to move around if needed? This. So, indoor exercise bike. So that's why I settled upon the bike, and also it's different. If you're like me, you do a lot of outdoor workouts. I don't ride bikes outdoors anymore because of texting while driving. It's dangerous, and I don't want to die. I don't want to get hit by a car. So, to be able to have that indoor cycling experience is nice, because when I'm outside, I'm not cycling. When I'm outside, I'm hiking, I'm walking, or I'm jogging. So I'm not cycling outside. So this gives me a different feeling cardio experience when I'm indoors. So, that's super nice. And once this pandemic clears and I get back in the gym, even though I have this at home, I'll still be using it, because there may be some days where I want to do my cardio at home instead of in the gym. But when I'm at the gym, I'll have access to rowing machines, treadmills, more than just bikes. So, You know, that's kind of cool. You know, you want to keep things feeling fresh and exciting. And to do that, this was the perfect thing for me because cycling I'm only going to do indoors. And I'm not going to do cycling at the gym because I do it at home and I don't want to, you know, bore myself with cycling. I'll do other things when I'm at the gym, treadmill, rowing machine, Stairmaster, that sort of stuff. When I'm outside, I'll be walking, hiking, or jogging. And when I'm at home, I'll be doing the indoor bike that you see right here, the IC4 that you can expand this video's description and then click the link there to find the bike, the shoes, the mat, the TV, the subwoofer, and the sound bar. So, I mean, there's so much that I could say about this. And the main thing is, you know, check out my video playlist because y'all have asked so many excellent questions so far. And, you know, don't feel bad. Ask any question. I don't want you to feel like, man, I hate to ask this guy a question. I'm encouraging you to ask all the questions you can because I'm trying to put together as many IC4 videos as I can. And, you know, check out my playlist. I think I've got, at the time of posting this, maybe 40 or so IC4 videos. That's how much I love this thing. And, you know, just like any other piece of technology or fitness equipment, you know, something I can obsess over and potentially provide useful information for my viewers. You know, that's why I'm going after this. And obviously, if you're looking for one, if you would expand this video's description and click the link there, that would help me. You know, because that's you can find this link there within this video's description. I'm an independent YouTube channel. I'm not one of the big, you know, internet, what do you call them, multi-channel networks or anything like that. I'm just independent. But I really enjoy this. And, oh, one thing I did, this is another little pro tip for you. If you get one of these, see this little tab right here, you can take that off to expose the screen. I left that little protective plastic on so I can wipe it off and it doesn't get sweat on the actual buttons. And you can still see through it. So, you know, just something you may want to do. And I left a little sticker over the Schwinn logo as well, because see, you drip tons of sweat on that when you're getting a good workout. Very adjustable. That's the other thing I want to mention. You can slide the handlebar forward. You can slide it backwards. The seat will go up and down. Not only will the seat post go up and down, but the seat can go forward. The seat can go backwards. If you want to get a tool and angle the seat, somebody was asking me, hey, you know, how do I angle it up or how do I angle it down? You know, I've got a video where I explain that within my IC4 videos playlist here on the Irish Guys Adventure channel. So, you know, just a really professionally made, professional looking bike. And the seat that came with it, man, again, I've been riding bikes since I was a kid. And the seat that came with this feels nice. It's not too soft and it's not too hard. It's a good balance between firmness and softness. And I like it. Again, everybody's butt's different. You know, what makes my butt feel good may not make your butt feel good. The good thing is, it's just a standard saddle. It's what they call a bicycle seat. They call it a saddle. So if you don't like the comfort of this saddle, this bicycle seat, there's so many bicycle seats on the market, man. Just find what fits your butt. You know, whatever feels good on your butt. So, yeah, and I mean, and these handlebars that I mentioned, they're kind of a semi-padded rubbery type material. This whole thing, once I finish working out, easy to wipe down. Obviously, like anything, you don't want to, see, sweat contains salt. So you don't want to leave sweat, not just because of the stench, but because of the salt. You know, you want to, you know, after you work out and you've really sweated on something, you want to wipe it down really good to get that sweat off because, you know, salt can corrode stuff over time. So mine, I've meticulously maintain this bike because, you know, I'm in it for the longevity. You know, I want to, you know, prolong my investment. I don't want to have to buy another piece of indoor cardio equipment anytime in the near future. The only reason I might do that is if I do upgrade to a bigger crib and, you know, have space, because if I had more space, I would also want a treadmill and I would also want a rowing machine just because I'm big into working. I like to eat a lot and that's why I'm still fat, but I like to work out a lot because it's important, you know, to hopefully enable yourself to live longer, you know, because if you just sit on your butt and you don't do anything, or even if you're sitting on your butt and you're doing something, you're still sitting on your butt. You know, whether you're sitting on your butt and watching TV, whether you're sitting on your butt and playing a video game, or whether you're sitting on your butt and working, you're still sitting on your butt. But when you're sitting on your butt on this bike, whoo, burning off some of that fat. So, yeah, I mean, oh, and the water bottle cages. Nice to slide even a larger water bottle in. And these weights, man, 1.5 kilogram, 3 pounds. Whether you're metric or imperial. These are cool because a lot of in the Peloton app, a lot of the Peloton app workouts, they'll have you using these while you're cycling, which it seems like 3 pounds wouldn't really do a lot. But when you've been riding for potentially 30, 45 minutes, and then they're asking you to do, to pull your weights out, it just adds to the amount of exercise value that you get from the workout. So, super cool. Those are in there. Trying to think of anything bad to say about this. Yeah, I will say something bad. The only thing I would suggest, and again, I'm not rolling this. I'm carrying it because it's narrow and it's lightweight enough for me to carry. But I would encourage Schwinn for a future IC4 model to do away with these kind of harder plastic rollerblade type wheels, and instead of having those, have some of those wheels like you get, and I've got them off camera, but the wheels like you would use with an office chair that are made to roll on hardwood or laminate. That would be cool for people that may not be as strong and may care about their floors, because if you rolled these wheels across most types of floors, they would probably damage the floor. And again, I don't roll it. I carry mine. But if you did need to do that, it would be nice if they had included wheels that are better suited for rolling across most any surface without damaging it. So, just a small gripe. Again, such a small gripe for such an excellent piece of fat-burning equipment. And again, like I said, I am still fat. But if I didn't do this, and I didn't do my backpacking and my hiking and my jogging and my walking, I'd be super fat because I eat so much. That's just what I like to do. So, to answer your question, if you're looking for the best, what I feel is the best exercise bike on the market today, I would definitely consider this as being the number one on your list. Again, expand this video's description and then click the link there. You can find the bike, you can find the mat, the shoes, the smart TV, the sound bar, and the subwoofer. So I appreciate your viewership. And just to remind you, ask any questions that you may have down below. I will try my best to answer your questions within future videos. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. It's youtube.com/irixguy. And when you do, ring that bell icon. And what that bell icon will do is notify you whenever I post another video. I appreciate your viewership, and I hope this video helped. And again, I strongly encourage you to ask as many questions as you may have. Hey, share this video with your friends, share it with your family, share it with anyone that you know that may be interested in, or if they saw it and they'd be like, well, whoa, I need an exercise bike, that you could help them, because, health is something that you can't take for granted. And if you care about your health, cardiovascular workout is so important. And it's so easy to just, to want to veg out in front of a TV or something. It's not good. You can veg out on you can get your cardio experience while watching TV. Substitute your sofa for an indoor exercise bike. Think about that for a minute. Best of luck with your fitness goals, and y'all have a great 2021 and beyond. Hey y'all, Captain Irix Guy here. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to subscribe. It's youtube.com/Irix Guy. And ring that bell icon when you do to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.